Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, first, I'm going to do a video about it, but listen, y'all. Sergey Derevyanchenko versus Jaime Munguia was a barn burner of a fight. Those guys brought it, and brought it some more. Both of them. You know, and Sergey Derevyanchenko, who came on the short end of the stick on this fight against Jaime Munguia, is a respected Ukrainian who, has a lot of close fights, but he's respected. He seems to be a good dude, respected, been in a lot of good fights. He's just never been able to get over the hump. But for people who were saying before the fight that he's going to be a journeyman, this is not a journeyman. He's getting up there, but he's still not a journeyman. He's really highly respected. Much props to him. But also Jaime Munguia for being able to take some punches and still be able to keep coming. I'm not a Jaime Munguia fan because at the end of the day, he could have fought for the championship at 160 pounds against, Demetrius Andrade or Charlo. He was the mandatory and keeps trying to do other stuff and keeps calling out 40-year-old Golovkin. So I know that they're trying to maneuver him because he has 40 fights and, he'd rather fight for a silver belt in the 168-pound division instead of go for the real belt when you're the mandatory, get in a mandatory position and don't want to fight. But fights like this probably show why, because Demetrius Andrade will whitewash his ass. And Charlo and him will be a good fight because Charlo likes to mix it up a lot. But Demetrius Andrade is kind of hard to hit and will hit you. So I don't think he wants, that's why Canelo don't want to fight Andrade. So, but whatever, we're not going to get on him because Jaime just brought a very exciting fight with Derevyanchenko. And hey, much props to both of those guys. So we don't want to get on them on this particular video. But I got my eye on fighters like that. Now, Teofimo Lopez, who seemed to have done the best thing on the weekend. I mean, Teofimo Lopez beat Josh Taylor. Now that Josh Taylor has been beaten, everybody seems to say, well, Josh Taylor wasn't nothing. Josh Taylor wasn't nothing in the first place. He's overrated, right? Here's the deal. Overrated, whatever. I'm undisputed. Undisputed ain't overrated. Not real undisputed. We got Canelo that's undisputed, and they gave him a belt. They gave him the WBC, and nobody says nothing about overrated, except me. Now, Josh Taylor's not overrated. Why? Because he was in the 140-pound division, and he went to the WBSS tournament. And most fighters ain't even going to a tournament. We can just name a whole bunch of fighters. You say the best fighters at 168 pounds right now go to a tournament, the best 8. Canelo ain't going, right? For example, he wouldn't have went at the 160, and he wouldn't have went at 154. Now, this guy went to the tournament. So if you're going to go to the tournament, and when he went to the 140-pound tournament, Ramirez didn't go, right? Maurice Hooker didn't go. They didn't go. So we ain't going there. But he went to the tournament and won the tournament and became undisputed, right? So, and beat Regis Prograis, which everybody ain't doing. That means if you've done that, you're not overrated. Just because you had a close fight against Jack Catterall, now all of a sudden he's overrated. No, Teofimo Lopez gets much props for beating this Josh Taylor, especially knowing that both of these guys were upset at each other and they brought it to the ring. Y'all know I don't roll with Teofimo Lopez anymore, but, I'm going to give props what props are due. The man handled his business, went in there and beat Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor is not overrated. He should have been rated something because undisputed, once you get undisputed in the weight division, you should go right into the pound for pound list because we got people in the pound for pound list that ain't even best in their division. And if other people are in the division and they're the very best in their division and there's no doubt about it, then put them in the top 10 pound for pound. Because we worried about Jamel Charlo ain't in there, and so we don't like that, right? So he was at 140 pounds, the very best fighter for a while. Maybe he's not that now, but he was for a while, and that means he's not overrated. So good job, Teofimo Lopez. But here we got Teofimo Lopez saying, is what I'm hearing, that he's going to retire, right? My opinion, my thoughts, I don't really want to listen to anybody else's thoughts. Mine is here, just simple. No, he ain't. What he's going to do, Teofimo Lopez had a lot of things going on before that fight, which makes people were talking about his mental state for the last couple of years, matter of fact. But of late, we were talking about what he was saying. He probably wanted to die in the ring. We heard about that. So his mental state was in question. Now you're talking about the fact that, he has to have a custody battle about his son and, a breakup with his ex-wife or whatever, the things you're just hearing. Those are a lot of things right? There's a lot of things. There's things that could fall in depression. To go in and still beat Josh Taylor is phenomenal. It's a good job, you know, from a guy that I'm not rolling with, but it's just a damn good job. So right now he's saying he's retiring. No, he's not. He's just going to do a Tyson Fury here, or basically I'm going to get away from it for a while. That's all. And without having to worry about what these next fights are and what people want me to fight the next fight right now. Because first of all, Teofimo Lopez understands that, people ain't believing that it's the takeover, right? So the next fights he would have would be some stuff, some people, right? The easiest fight he probably can get right now would probably be Gervonta Davis, right? Give some money and then probably get knocked out or whatever. Because he ain't going to fight Devin Haney, because he would have done that a long time ago. And have you noticed they always want some astronomical money? Back in the day it was $10 million, now it's $20 million. So that's not going to happen. So when you're looking at all that, best thing for him to do to just get away from the sport is do a Hancock. Y'all remember Will Smith's movie when he was a superhero, right? People don't appreciate him when he's there. So what he's got to do is like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to jail and I'm out of the box for a while, and then you start appreciating what I brought. That's basically what it is. You take some time off, handle your private life, get away from it for a while. Just try not to get too fat now, because you have to come back and you be fighting at 154 pounds and get beat up, right? So don't get too fat, right? Stay away for about a year, clear your brain, get your hunger and love back for the sport, and come back, and people will want to see the takeover part 2. So that's what that's going to be, basically. And I think it's okay. It's like I would like him to get into the fights and, and stuff that we want him to do. But if he doesn't, then he just doesn't, right? He's out for a minute. So we're going to just leave it at that. Teofimo Lopez is retiring, but he'll be back, right? Just like Schwarzenegger. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.